Hi friends, hope you are doing well. I'm Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to discuss one more internship program, and this is the internship program given by the UNDP or the United Nations Development Program. Now this internship program is open for people who are in their final year of their bachelor's degree. They may have completed the bachelor's degree or they may even be graduate students. So if you are in any of these categories, you can consider applying to these programs. Now, the UNDP actually does a lot of good work. Its primary goal is to work in terms of removing poverty around the world and also doing sustainable development. Now, you all know that you could probably remove poverty by building huge number of coal-fired plants and steel plants, but then you would get a very warped type of development. You would have situations such as a lot of pollution, you would have acid rain, you would have various health problems for the people and so on. So one of the objectives of development nowadays is that development should be environmentally sustainable. So you want to have power production using, for example, renewable means such as solar, wind and so on. You also want to have development which uses less of the resources which are quite meager around the world. So this is something which is known as sustainable development, and it is something which is certainly a very good thing to aspire for. So the UNDP essentially gives you paid positions. So all these positions are open to people around the world. Remember that there are 170 countries which are part of the UNDP system, and what they are looking for is well qualified students or former students who are interested in some of the goals which the UNDP has espoused in its mission statement and in its web page. So what you are going to get is you are going to get very well qualified mentors. These guys are very well trained, they are experienced, they are very motivated, and these guys are all working on problems related in some way or the other to the eradication of poverty, to reducing the inequities in the world and so on. So these are certainly noble goals which you can also get into. Now this internship, as I mentioned, is open to students and recent graduates, and the most popular fields for which the internship is typically given are in economics, public administration, business administration, environmental studies, international relations and so on. But do remember that many a time the UNDP also requires people who have backgrounds in fields such as data analysis, data science, and in various technological disciplines, because technology is one of the bedrocks of development nowadays. So I would say development always requires some kind of interaction between technology, between management practices and also social sciences, because development does not take place in a vacuum. All the things which you generate through technology and through management have to take part in a certain society, and every society has its own socio-dynamics which will have an impact on the development process. Now, what are the tasks you typically need to do? The main task you have is conducting research, write documents, collate information from various sources, help to manage different type of events which may take place, collaborations, conferences and so on. So one of the aims here, of course, is to try to get hold of public knowledge stories and best practices. So one thing which became quite widespread in some of the recent economics work, for example, even Nobel Prize winners have got PhDs for this, is something which is known as best practices, and also giving small nudge to processes so that people can embrace these best practices. So many best practices have been obtained from around the world. For example, things such as micro lending, such as use of solar batteries, such as use of solar lanterns, such as use of micro hydro projects and so on. And what happens is that if any one place has taken this kind of technology and tried to apply it, this knowledge has now been prototyped, it has been actually shown in a real world scenario. And so one of the objectives which can give you a very good return with very less amount of expense is simply trying to spread this best practice to other countries around the world. So this is certainly something also you can think about doing. Now, where do you get this internship? You typically can get it around the world and also at the UN headquarters in New York. So That's where many of these internships are. I'm going to leave a web page link in the description box and you can check out more there. Also, there are various offices around the different parts of the world where the UNDP internships are available. The length of the internship is going to depend on whatever is the requirement as far as UN is concerned, the particular officer is concerned who is trying to solicit this internship. You are going to get a monthly stipend which is going to cover all your expenses, or I would say large amount of your expenses. Now this is not a salary, this is simply a stipend, so do remember that. But if you are a student, you are used to living quite frugally, I hope so, and so you will not find it very difficult to make your ends meet in this situation. Now there are many governments which also help to provide some kind of subsidy if you are in one of these internship programs, so you can check with your home government whether this kind of thing is available for you. Now typically the UN work takes place in 3 official languages. These are English, Spanish and French, so knowledge of any of these is going to be beneficial to you. And of course I would say knowledge of at least one of these languages is going to be required if you want to be a UNDP intern. Now they do mention that there are several languages which are tertiary, but they would like to have interns who know this. So these languages are mentioned as Arabic, Portuguese, Russian and various East European languages. So if you are somebody who knows Czech, or you knows Latvian, or you know Romanian, it's probably going to be an advantage in this situation. So now if people are there who only want to learn a few languages, they are not interested in learning Russian or learning Portuguese, here is one reason that you can do so, because suddenly there are large parts of the world which speak these languages. Remember, in Brazil, Portuguese is spoken, and of course Spanish, French and English are spoken in large part of the world because of the impact of these countries around the world through their activities during the last few centuries. So this was my take on the UNDP internship program, and again it's a good internship program. It will certainly open the gateway to many people, whether they are in the social sciences, whether they are in the sciences, or even if they are in the business administration part of the equation. I'll end this video now and I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.